I don't know how to act because I've lost 8 parts of me because I loved each and every one of them like they were my own, and I took care of them like they were my own.
The Shamar Elkins mass shooting is one of the most disturbing recent cases. Shamar Elkins is accused of killing 8 children, most of them his own, during a domestic situation in Louisiana. The victims were very young, and the attack shocked the entire country. Afterward, he fled, led police on a chase, and later died during a confrontation with law enforcement. Authorities believe it was tied to family issues and personal struggles, but the full motive is still being investigated. Take a listen.
Tonight surrounding that Louisiana man who police say shot and killed 8 children. 7 of those victims were his own children, as well as critically wounding his wife and another woman. Investigators now say 31-year-old Shamar Elkins and his wife were right in the middle of separating and were actually due in court today. Police now also investigating to figure out how exactly he got a hold of the gun. He was convicted of a felony back in 2019 and should not have been able to buy or get a hold of the assault-style weapon police say was used. Now, this domestic attack from over the weekend now being marked as the nation's deadliest mass shooting in more than 2 years.
We've never seen anything like this. This amount of evil violence that happened, and that's what it is, it's evil, is something that's disturbing, and it's going to take a long time for this community to recover.
Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry just announcing tonight that the Love One Louisiana Foundation right here was actually created by the First Lady. Well, that foundation will now pay for the funeral expenses for each of those children.
Shamar's parents said he was struggling with mental health issues and even dealing with dark thoughts. And that's what makes this whole situation even darker than we can imagine. These children had their lives taken by the very person who was supposed to protect them. A father battling personal struggles he ultimately couldn't overcome. Check out this other clip.
The parents of 31-year-old Shamar Elkins told the New York Times that he was under significant stress because his wife Shaniqua Pugh had filed for a divorce from him, and he had been dealing with suicidal thoughts as a result of it. Around Easter, Shamar called his mother, Michaela Elkins, and his stepfather, Marcus Jackson. He was crying, and he told them that he wanted to end his life. Jackson said that he tried to encourage him, saying, quote, "You can beat that stuff, man. I don't care what you're going through. You can beat it." Shamar responded and said, "Some people don't come back from their demons." Shamar and Shaniqua had been together for a decade prior to getting married in 2024. His mother is saying that she does not know why Shaniqua wanted to end the marriage, but she did admit that he had been acting differently. The last time that she saw her son was a weekend before the incident when his family came over for dinner. And the mom says that nothing seemed unusual about his behavior. Now, the mother also shared that she had him as a teenager while struggling with an addiction. Shamar was raised by a family friend, and they had only reconnected about 10 years ago, and she said that they're not even close. She said that her and her husband, that they were still uneasy about him, and so they would text him to check on him, and he would respond, "We're okay." She said that she checked on him a few days prior to the incident. She asked him how him and the children were doing, and he said okay. She then responded back, sending her love to him and the children, and he never responded back. Shamar then carried out one of the most tragic massacres in recent U.S. history. He unalived 7 of his own children and a nephew, execution style. In total, 10 people were pew-pewed. Pugh and another woman survived the incident, and they are in the hospital in critical condition. One child survived the incident. He was able to get onto the roof. Luckily, he was able to seek coverage, and he got away from Elkins. He told the authorities that Pugh and Elkins had been arguing before the incident, but it's not clear as to what they were arguing about. Shamar Elkins and Shaniqua Pugh, they shared 4 daughters together. He also had 3 other children with another woman that lived nearby. That woman was also shot, but she's in the hospital and she's expected to survive. Shaniqua Pugh was fired at several times, including the head and the stomach. It's been reported that she underwent surgery late Sunday night. Military officials have also confirmed that Shamar had no deployments and he left the Army as a private, which means that he left the military holding one of the lowest enlisted ranks. This is due to not receiving any promotions and or disciplinary, medical, or personal issues. So him possibly suffering from PTSD is not a possibility. He was never deployed. Our court records, they also show that Shamar had a prior criminal case in 2019 after police say that he fired multiple shots near a Shreveport high school. He was charged with illegal use of a weapon and possession of a firearm near a school. He served 30 days in jail and then he was on probation for 18 months after that. He has no other charges against him or DV reports that we are aware of at this time.
It just shows you never really know what someone is going through. Even Shamar seemed normal on the outside, telling people he was okay when he really wasn't, quietly battling things he couldn't face, and tragically taking the pain out on his own children. Moments like this remind us how deep the struggle can go. I truly feel for everyone affected by this, the families, the community, and the whole country. And in the middle of all this darkness, the battle we face is spiritual, but we don't face it without hope. Evil may be rising, but the Lord rises higher. Check out this last clip.
Do you know that Shamar Elkins, the perpetrator of the massacre in Shreveport, Louisiana, was actually in divorce proceedings with his wife to get separation, and their first court date was supposed to be yesterday, so Monday, the day before the day after the shooting? He had 4 children with that woman. He was going to be in divorce proceedings speaking about child support the next day, which is what led to this shooting. You can't tell me this is one of the main things that they tell you. He literally killed those people. He killed his family because he didn't have the funds to take care of them. And he felt like this would have been game over for him. He was 31 with 8 kids. He killed 8 kids. One of the kids wasn't even his. He went for every child in that house. One of those children was the cousin, his nephew. He literally killed his nephew in the sake of just killing every child possible. He shot the women and he shot all the children because he was supposed to be in divorce proceedings the next day. And that's why you don't see black men talking about this. That is why you don't see a lot of black men talking about this, because they feel like it's a shame on black men. But really, it's not even that. Sexual discipline is something that needs to be taught much more extensively throughout the community. And somebody in our community will shame somebody for being gay, but won't shame 8 kids. Won't shame 8 kids with 3 different women. He was already on child support with 1 woman, and his wife that he had 4 more children with was in the process of leaving him, and they were going to go to court the next day. That's why he tried to flee too. That's why he tried to flee. Y'all gonna talk about mental illness. He was gonna be in divorce proceedings the next day, paying for 4 more kids after he's already on child support on the hook for 2 of them. And that's why he got a new wife, but he had different baby mamas and stuff, and he had 8 kids. I need y'all to hear it. That just pissed me clean off looking it up.
A lot of people are saying mental health isn't an excuse for what Shamar did, and they are right. He knew right from wrong. This tragedy can't be justified, but at the same time, mental health plays a real role and it shouldn't be ignored or dismissed either. 2 things can be true at once. There's accountability for the actions, and there's also a deeper issue that needs to be taken seriously, because if we overlook that side of it, we risk missing the warning signs, and tragedies like this don't just come out of nowhere.